Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in the studio, I'm live, and I'm a little bit late. Apologies. We're going to be talking all things Ruben Amorim, Amorim at Manchester United. So make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments. Today should be the day that we get a Comunicado Oficial. We're waiting for that. We've had a sort of done deal story from Laurie Whitwell. We've had Ornstein, we've had Romano, we've had all these people saying, look, basically everything's been agreed, sort of. Other than just the timeline, it just seems that this sort of buyout clause, how much United are going to pay, are we going to pay the million extra euros? When is he going to come in? Is he going to be in time for the, I think it was the Ipswich game, which looks like that's going to happen. We just need it confirmed by the club, by all the relevant parties, because everyone's sort of reporting it, but we've yet to have that sort of official stamp. So we'll get into it all anyway. We'll see what we know, what's been said, who's been saying it, and where this sort of leaves Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. I expect it to be announced today, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Let's just go through the timeline. Loads of people in the comments, actually. First of all, let me just say hello to a few people because you've been waiting patiently and then you've all sort of come in and said hello. Andrew James, Ryan Goodwin says Reform UK. You're going to get blocked. Peter Evans, Yomi Nelson, BMW Racing 1974, Ross Murphy, good to see Ross, Stephanie Griffith, Andy G, Paul Hegarty says hello. Sorry, he's corrected me, I think, on how to pronounce it. Dan United 94, Destino Portugal, loads of people in the chat. Forgive me if I missed everyone out. I'll tell you what we'll do, actually. Let's hear from Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's never too early, is it, to hear from Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud van Nistelrooy was talking ahead of the Chelsea game, and we've got a couple of clips here. Here's what he was saying about leading this team out for the foreseeable future. He was asked, given that you're here, I'm guessing you'll be leading the side out this Sunday. Beyond that, what is the situation? And here's what he had to say.
I'm guessing that too. So yes. As I said, it's going to be a short job as an interim. That was communicated very clear, and I was happy with that. I felt that I was called upon to help the club forward in this situation, and obviously it was difficult, that Eric had to leave. I was very disappointed, obviously with mixed feelings, but after that you have to switch and the mindset to win, because in the end 75,000 people waiting and celebrating and millions watching at home. So I think that's what we try to do, and same for Sunday at least, and then after that we'll see.
Is it just me, or could you just listen to Ruud van Nistelrooy all day? Honestly, absolutely love Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think the club have made the right decision in not making him the permanent manager or making it one where he can audition for the role. I don't think that's the right approach. I think you need to put aside the fact that he's absolutely amazing and we all love him as a player and as a person, but just look at it from the coaching point of view. Did he do enough at PSV to get the manager's job? Probably not. So as a caretaker, fantastic. But bringing in Amorim makes sense to me anyway. But I do love Ruud van Nistelrooy. And let's have it right. If they give him the job, not too many people have been complaining because it's Ruud van Nistelrooy. So there he was saying, spoke about Eric leaving. He said he was very disappointed with mixed feelings, but you have to have that switch and the mindset to win, because in the end there are 75,000 people waiting and celebrating and millions watching at home. You got what he was getting at there. He was sort of alluding to the fact that, didn't work out at Ten Hag. Yes, he's still here for the foreseeable, and he's happy with that. So all kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Can we please hit the like button? We've got another clip from Ruud van Nistelrooy in a minute, but before I get to that, hit that like button, please, people. Let's get to 200 likes. Also, loads of people in the chat still. Chris Smith, hi to you, brother. Good to see you again. Emmett Toner. Who else have we got in there? Luke W95. Let me know what you think about Ruud van Nistelrooy. What do you think of the Leicester game? A few people were a bit annoyed. It's weird, isn't it? Because you want to see Manchester United winning, but it was a weird feeling because I saw some people going, look, this is great and I'm glad we're scoring goals, but why wasn't this performance there under Eric Ten Hag? Was it the manager or was it some of these players who just stopped playing for him? You always get that when the shackles are off and a new manager just takes over, even if it's an interim manager or a caretaker manager, whatever, manager leaves, you just tend to get that little bit of a bounce, regardless of whether you're Manchester United or anyone else. And also, let's not forget, it was kind of the perfect storm for United as well. Leicester at home in the Carabao, so it wasn't even a full strength Leicester team. you'd fancy United for that one. And we have been sort of threatening some of these performances this season. We've just not had the finishing. We added the finishing. Casemiro's first goal in particular was just ridiculous. And I know people don't like to talk about luck, but we had a couple of moments where we had a little bit of the rub of the green, didn't we? It was the one where Casemiro was at the other end of the pitch, where it hit the post twice, I think. Was it Marcus crossed it? Casemiro did it, and then it hit the post and he finished. I think it already hit the post once and he finished. That could have gone either way. There was the one for Bruno's second goal, I think it was, where Marcus plays a ball at him that's just almost levers it at him and it bounces and falls nicely for him. I mean, he still has a little bit to do. So little things like that went our way. So I'm not going to be too sort of, where was all this under Eric Ten Hag? But you can see that the players did seem to have a little bit more of a spring in the step. You might not be happy about that, but that's just the way it is, isn't it? And we've been here before. Hopefully, we won't be here again. Someone made me laugh in a comment. I need to find who it was. Someone said, hopefully you'll get the pronunciation right for Amorim's name back before the speculation starts about his leaving. Hopefully I will. Let's have a look at another Ruud van Nistelrooy clip. He was asked a question here, just in terms of you. You said that the ownership is short term. Does that mean you're expecting to leave when the new manager comes in? What does the future hold for you?
Yes, and I decided to come back here for a very important reason, that I'm here. And as an assistant, I came here to help the club forward. And I'm still very motivated to do so in any capacity. And as an assistant, and now as an interim manager, and after that I go back to my assistant contract that I have here for this season and next. And I'm very motivated to stay here and help the club forward. That's my absolute goal.
Saying the right things there, only Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's saying basically he's happy to stay on in any capacity. I'd like to see Ruud van Nistelrooy stay on. I think that there's every chance him and Ruben Amorim can work together. Obviously, Amorim's going to be the manager. He's going to be calling the shots. But having someone who knows Manchester United, who knows how big this club is and what it's about, helps, because there's nothing, no matter how much you think you're going to be ready for it, it's going to be completely different when you're there. And having someone alongside you or within your dugout or within your changing room who, as part of your coaching staff, who knows about this club, I think it'll help. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it seems a logical move to keep him on, but that's up to the club and the manager, of course. The manager may have his own ideas about his backroom staff. He may have his own ideas about Ruud van Nistelrooy. You don't know, do you? But I'd love to see Ruud van Nistelrooy stay on as an assistant manager or coach or whatever you want to call it and work alongside Ruben Amorim to get Manchester United back to where we should be. Let me know what you think. Loads of people in the chat and the comments. Robbie T. Elliott says, I hope Ruud gets us some good results and can take that to either a job with Amorim or a job somewhere else in management. Ruud. Stephanie Griffiths says, Ruud speaks well, clear and concise. He does speak very well, doesn't he? He does. He does. Let's get rid of some Nana there. He can bore off. Wait, what's this? Ruud has love and passion for United, says Paul Hegarty. He does have a lot of passion for Manchester United, and he speaks very well, and he's done so well so far in that one game as caretaker manager. He kind of went through the sort of Eric Ten Hag stuff unsated, I think, Ruud van Nistelrooy. I don't think too many people blamed him for when it went wrong with Eric Ten Hag, because it was already going wrong last season when Ruud wasn't even here. If you look at our league form, so people could already see this doesn't look great. The cup run obviously saved Eric Ten Hag, and there was a hope, myself included, that we were going to kick on this season. We didn't. I don't really think you can blame Ruud van Nistelrooy for that, to be honest with you. I think it's one of those where, had the manager been flying and then Ruud comes in and everything goes wrong, you might have gone, well, since Ruud's come in, we've been shocking. But it wasn't quite like that, was it? So, yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy still has, seems to be held in very high esteem by most Manchester United fans I speak to, including myself, and rightly so. Let's have a look at this timeline then for Ruben Amorim. When's he coming in? What's going on? So, this is from The Independent, and it says here, but the delay in confirming the appointment of the Sporting Lisbon coach is adding to growing uncertainty over when he could take charge. We know a lot of this anyway. United are going to pay €10 million as a release clause. It goes on to say the Independent understands the club are negotiating with the Portuguese champion to ensure Amorim does not have to serve a 30-day period. We kind of knew that as well, didn't we? While they also want to agree terms to bring his backroom staff to Old Trafford. Is there any more on that, or is that the lot? There you go. It says, although Sir Dave Brailsford, Ineos Director of Sport, appeared to confirm to fans before the Old Trafford tie that the deal for Amorim was done. Interim boss Ruben van Nistelrooy said he's willing to help United as long as needed after the 5-2 win over Leicester. On Thursday, Amorim spoke and he said the soap opera about his future is ending as he suggested, as he suggested his move to Manchester United will be announced on Friday evening. Sporting wants to keep Amorim until the November international break, which would mean he would face City in the Champions League on Tuesday. It's going to be a big game, that, isn't it? For a multitude of reasons. People are going to be looking into that and coming up with all sorts. Now, I'm going to say it now, right now. That game against Manchester City for Sporting is completely meaningless. Yeah, whether if he loses or draws, it doesn't matter. If he wins, however, it means something. It means he's the best manager in the world. So, look, you can't say too much into that game. There's every chance that, obviously, City going into that favour, there's every chance City will win. People are looking at it going, oh, he's lost to Pep already, whatever. I don't think you can look too much into it. You know the job he's got to do at Manchester United. We know the job he's already done at Sporting, but it's going to be a bit of a funny one, innit? He calls it a soap opera. That'll be a soap opera when everyone will be looking at that going, oh, trying to work out what that means in terms of how good a manager is. It doesn't mean too much, to be honest with you. Let's have a look what everyone else is saying. Loads of people chatting to each other. Rain, I think, and Marcus are having a bit of a chat. Akash K says, Jay, have you seen the retro shirts on the United store? The black away shirt is now back. I haven't, actually. I've not seen that. That was one of my favourite shirts when I was a kid. I think in 93, 94, they brought out the first black kit. Because the referees used to wear black. So you couldn't have a black kit. You lot won't remember that because it was years ago and then it changed. The referees wear green now, I think, don't they? So back in the day, you could never have a black kit. And then they changed the referees in the mid-90s or early to mid-90s. And then United, one of the first teams to have a black kit, the sharp view cam kit, and I absolutely loved it. Ross Murphy says, Jay, will you be calling him Ruben instead of Amorim? Maybe. You can do. What do you reckon? Ruben, does that sound right? Calling the manager Ruben? You called it Eric Ten Hag. Eric, didn't we? A lot of the time. Yeah, why not? Yeah, a full name Huggy said, USA 94 when they changed the rules. That's when it all changed, innit? And El says the referees wear whatever they are paid to wear. Dan United 94 says, I reckon we'll call him Big Rubes. Don't know about that one. You can try. Let us know. JDK says, g'day from Australia. Love Australia. G'day to you too, my friend. Let's see what Fabrizio Romano's been tweeting. I think I said this the other day. I said, you're going to get about 30 of these tweets from Fabrizio before the deal is announced. Fabrizio Romano is the king at doing the same tweet over and over with slight variations of it. So if you look, this is pretty much what he's been saying for the last few days. United and Sporting have prepared all documents for Ruben Amorim's move to be sealed in the next days. Same on manager side as Amorim will sign at United until June 2027 as planned. Formal steps to follow soon. That's pretty much what he's already been saying, innit? There's now new there, is there? Really? If we're going to be brutally honest. But I get it. I get he's got to give some sort of update. Plus he want them numbers for Elon, won't he? Get that sweet sweater money. Or sorry, X money. So you can see there, he's giving us a little update that doesn't tell us anything we didn't already know, really. But yeah, it's an interesting one in the sense that it all seems to be moving forward. Doesn't seem to be too many issues. So let's have a look. Let's just hope it stays like that. Mercurial Blonde says, we didn't call Moyes David, though. Yeah, certain names lend themselves to being used as a first name, and I don't think David is one. Smoothie says, I don't know, it kind of sounds like Jay can't say Ruben right either. Why are we meant to say? Is that Ruben not the right way? Is Ruben in it? How have I got that wrong? Dan United 94 says, I called him Big Davo. Did you? Did anyone call David Moyes Big Davo? Parag says, feels surreal watching Ruud van Nistelrooy as our manager. It does, doesn't it? It feels weird. It was like that with Ollie for a while, and then you sort of got used to it. I don't think we'll get used to it with Ruud van Nistelrooy because he's only going to be managing for, 4 games? He's already done one of them. Let's talk about Sean Malacia. Remember those two? We've done a tweet, and this has come via Rich Fay. says Luke Shaw and Tyrone Malacia are both hoping to be fit for Ruben Amorim's first match in charge away at Ipswich. Okay, right. Well, I should hope they are hoping to be fit, for starters. If they're not, then we've got issues. Will they be fit, though? That is the big question. I mean, you forget... You almost forget about him, don't you, sometimes? It's such a shame, especially for Malacia. I really do worry about him, because when's the last time he played? It was about 18 months ago or something. A long time ago. Luke Shaw's upset a few people, hasn't he, by going to the Euros and playing for England and then being injured again and missing a third of the season or whatever it'll be by the time he's back. We did a video yesterday off the bar, me, Joe and Steve, and we spoke about which players sort of Amorim can keep or sell, and whether they're going to have a future at Manchester United. And I think all three of us agreed that both of them are going to struggle to stay at United, and I think it might be time to cut our loss. So, the thing with Malacia, you don't know what sort of player you're going to get back from after such a long-term injury. Sure, I'll just give up with him. I'm sick of this debate we've been having since almost 2020 when he started getting... It wasn't the big injury he had early doors that did for him. I think in the last few years he's been injured like on and off pretty much half the season. I think he's missed 50% of the season for the last 4 seasons. It might even be 5 seasons. And you can't do that. You can't have one of your defenders who's just out constantly. And that's what's happened with Luke Shaw. And it's a shame he's not deliberate, is it? He doesn't want to get injured. But can you rely on him? No. It doesn't matter how good he is when he plays if he hardly ever plays. Let me know what you think. RRKB81 says we need to help their recovery, but the sooner bringing replacements, the better. I agree with that. Jiggers02 says I doubt Shaw deliberately got injured. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I don't think he did. Walter Contreras says Jay is a legend, the greatest. Thank you. Bit of honesty in the chat. That's what I like to see. Adam Kenny says Shaw is our current longest tenured player. Was it 2014 he came in? Was it Louis van Gaal in that summer? I don't know if Louis van Gaal knew much about it, to be honest with you. I don't know if he'd been watching much of Southampton. But we bought him in that summer, didn't we, 2014? So it's been 10 years. I think so. Dan United 94 says, Jay, who's our best left-back, Big Luco or Big Tyrone? I like what you're doing there. NXT says, 10-year anniversary was last June. So, yeah, it's been longer than 10 years now. And, yeah, it's just not working, is it? It's not worked anymore. Doesn't feel like it's one of those. Let's have a look at his Ten Hag fallout. What have we got here? Erik Ten Hag has been left completely devastated after his dismissal from Manchester United. This is from the Manchester Evening News. The Dutchman was shown the door following. Yeah, we know all that. But it says here that someone who knows him. I think Hans Craig Jr., that's a name for you, who played alongside the 54-year-old at the Graafschap, told Dutch outlet Soccer News that the former United boss was completely ruined by his sacking. He said, I understand that he's getting 17 million euros, and then people say he will go somersaulting through Manchester. There's a bit more to this quote, I take it. No, he is completely devastated. He is completely ruined. At the moment, you don't think about money. That will come later. I also don't have the impression that I have to call him tomorrow to ask, can you still make ends meet? Can you still get the groceries? Not that, but now he's in trouble. Yeah, it's not nice to see Erik Ten Hag being sacked. It's never nice to see any manager being sacked, but I quite liked Erik Ten Hag. I didn't have many dealings with him. We went to a few press conferences during his 3 pre-seasons he did. Was it 2? I can't even work it out. Every pre-season. So, no, was it not 3?
Did they not cancel
the pre-season tour? So he was in Australia and Thailand, and he was in America twice. So yeah, it was 3 pre-season tours we did. And then, because obviously he did one before he'd been, managing in the Premier League. So it was got a good impression of him. Pre-season's a bit weird because everyone's pretty relaxed. There's sort of positive vibes. He's a bit more chilled. It's not as pressurised, as intense as it can be in the middle of a Premier League season where the results might be going against you and everyone's on your case or whatever. So I always found him quite a decent bloke. Sad to see him go. Sad it didn't work out. I had high hopes, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he was the right appointment. There was no part of me that thought, we should have gone for Pochettino, because it looked like it was going to be Pochettino or Ten Hag. I thought Ten Hag was the right man. But he came in straight away, and it was obvious he was his own man, wasn't it? didn't want to liaise with Ralph Rangnick, didn't want him in any capacity. I think Ralph Rangnick was more than happy to leave and go manage Austria, but at first it looked like he was going to stay on and be some sort of consultant or advisor or whatever, and Erik ten Hag was having none of that. I do think they should have met. They didn't even meet. I think they just had a phone call for a handover, which I thought was a bit odd. I thought they should have at least got in a room together and at least spoke to each other properly. I mean, a handover over the phone just seemed a little bit short to me. I don't think it's a be-all and end-all. First season, Erik ten Hag did very well, finishing third, winning the League Cup, getting to the FA Cup final, beating Barcelona in the Europa League as well. There was a lot of good results in that season, beating City at home, Arsenal at home, Liverpool, Barcelona, like I mentioned. The issue was some of the away results. 6-3 away at the Etihad, 7-0 at Anfield will live with us forever. And then the second season in the league, it was a disaster, wasn't it? Let's not kid ourselves. Losing at home to Fulham and Bournemouth and Brighton and whoever else it was on that horrendous run that we went on. And yes, the FA Cup was fantastic. Beating Liverpool 4-3 at Old Trafford, one of the best days I've had at United in years. And then the final as well, another great day and another great performance, actually. I thought that performance was really something that made me hopeful Erik ten Hag was going to kick on this season, but he didn't. And he had to go in the end, I think. It just wasn't working. I felt it after the Spurs game. I just thought, this isn't going to end well. This isn't going to work, and he needs to go. Akash K says, is there any hope for Mason Mount right now? Listen, it all depends on fitness with Mason Mount. There's a player there, but he's just been injured almost constantly. And I don't know what is going on, because it's like, at one point, at one moment, he seems to have one injury. Like, he's whatever he's done, he's calf or whatever, his knee or whatever. And then the next minute, it's something else. Like, he went off the pitch, was it against Spurs? Was it against Liverpool? I can't remember. With a head injury, and then it's something else. And I just don't know. He just constantly seems to be taking one step forward and two steps back. Glenn F. talking on Erik ten Hag says, I truly believed he was the one, but he came in at the wrong time. He should have been coming in now. Perhaps he should have. I think it was weird as well, because he came in and we kind of went, right, who do you want? We'll get him for you. So when he wanted Martinez, we made that happen. Ericsson, Casemiro felt a little bit more like the club pushing for that one, but I don't think Erik ten Hag was against it. One of the best DMs on the planet at the time. So that made sense. But then the Antony one, the Antony signing, when you look back and you think, what cost Erik ten Hag his job? It wasn't just the Antony signing, but I think that was part of it. I think spending 80 million quid on Antony was a stick that was used to beat him with for the rest of his United career. It really was. And it made it difficult for him, I think, in terms of justifying certain transfers, because by the end of his time, he wasn't even playing Antony, was he? He was giving him a few minutes here and there. I think his only start this season is against Barnsley, which says it all. The Mason Mount one, Akash mentioned Mason Mount, was another strange one. Not as strange as Antony, but it felt like we rushed that deal when we could have waited and got him for nothing in the summer. And also, did we really need him? Where was he going to play? And Erik ten Hag said some sort of conflicting things. At first, it looked like he wanted to use Mason Mount almost as like a 6 in a double pivot. He was mentioning that, wasn't he? And you thought, really, is that Mason Mount's best position? And then it was like, oh no, he's going to be further up the pitch. But you think, well, is that not where Bruno's best position? If you're going to play him almost in a 10, maybe you can play him out wide. Never really got going. Had some decent halves, but I don't think he's had a good 90 minutes, Mason Mount, since he's arrived at Manchester United. And Erik ten Hag probably needed him to. He needed Mason Mount to step up, justify that signing, and help him win some football matches. And he just didn't really do that, did he? So one or two things went wrong with transfers. And then this summer, it seems that Erik ten Hag didn't get his own way with all the transfers. We heard from Sofian Amrabat the other day, who said, you want to know why I'm not at Old Trafford? Ask Jason Wilcox. So it was obvious that Erik ten Hag wanted to keep him, but he didn't, wasn't given that opportunity to. I think Erik ten Hag wanted to keep Scott McTominay as well, but the club wanted to bring in Manuel Ugarte, and a few people looking at going, did the club already know they wanted Ruben Amorim? Let me know what you think. M. Stevens says, how bad is Mount? He's just injured, isn't he? Just injured. Andrew A says, a Mount was 100% a Glazer-esque signing. You can have Mount or no one. Maybe, I don't know. Tyrone says 90 million for Antony, what a waste of money. 55 million for Mount. United know how to waste money. When you look at some of those, it's not been great, has it? It's I don't know. Andrew A says, disagree completely about it, not me and Ragnick. You have to see the problem for yourself, not let someone else taint your view before you get there. We spoke to him on the phone, didn't we? And also, you can listen to some of what he's got to say. You can make your own judgment. But I don't think meeting... We've got let me get my bearings. We've got the brew coming up. I think Angie's going to be joining us today. It's going to be me, Steve and Ange for the brew. We've also got a few other videos going out as well. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I'm Jay Moy. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.